Okay, so I started the recording. And if you have your video off, if you can turn it on for just 1 second so that I can, like I said, so that Kayla gets credit for hosting this meeting for me. I'm going to take a picture of my screen, so if you can turn on your thing just for a second so I can prove that I just didn't add on strangers. I'm going to take a picture of the screen. Okay, 1, 2. I got it. Perfect. Okay. So
No, I'm just kidding.
I miss Tony getting in the picture, but I'm sure they won't hassle me for it. I got David too. Okay, so to help me with sound control,
Hi, Kayla.
if there's Kayla. I'm going to mute everyone just for the sake of sound control for the meeting, and then if you want to get unmuted, there's a spot you just unmute yourself. All right, so now that we've sorted out all the technical difficulties, I'm glad you're all here. Thank you, Kayla, for gathering the people you love to be able to share tonight about soul. And if you don't mind, I like to, in my meetings, as I know I just said I would like you all to be muted, but if you wouldn't mind, unmute yourself and just say hi and tell me where you're at. Tell me where you live.
Hi, Pamela.
This is David.
Hi, Tony and Claire. We're in Temecula.
Awesome.
Hello, I'm Sandra, and hello, Tony. Wow. I'm in San Diego.
My name's Brittany. I'm in Temecula.
Awesome. I think that was almost everyone. Is that Ashley? Ashley
Yes,
unmuted.
Ashley.
Awesome.
San Diego.
San Diego.
Am I off mute?
I can hear you.
My grandma's name is Peggy Farrell. She may not have a chance to introduce herself, so I'm going to introduce. Her computer decided to update right when she was trying to join the meeting.
I did see the name pop in for a second. All right, awesome.
Yeah, anyway.
All right. Well, I just do that because I know we are over technology and it's not always the most personal way to have any kind of meeting or get together. But I do want you to feel comfortable enough that although I have, something to present to you, that I'm comfortable. If we need to pause, raise your hand, unmute yourself and say you have a question, whatever, because I want you to be comfortable like we were all chatting. And so one thing I just wanted everyone to think about and ponder is why you said yes. Why did you say yes to coming to this virtual happy hour? Now, there's many different reasons that you probably said yes to, whether it's just you just love Kayla and you came to support her and listen to this because just supporting her, or maybe you need some more energy, or maybe you're looking for ways to balance your weight, or maybe you're looking for ways to improve your mood or your mental health, or maybe you just need some mental clarity. Whatever that is, I welcome you because, there are all kinds of things that all of us go through quietly and not many people know. And as we go on, I'll share a little bit of my story. And so I'm glad that you're here and that you've invested this time to come and just find out some options. And something that I like to, sort of set the tone for why we are, here meeting together is, when you think about investing in your health, most of you have heard the term health is wealth, right? Have any of you heard that before, that health is wealth? Well, when you think about that and you break that down, And you think about, you know, if even as basic as having a cold, you've got the sniffles, you're sneezing, you just feel tired and run down. It's not only that you physically have something going on, but it also mentally affects your motivation. It affects your decision making, because you just feel, you know, like all your energy has just been brought down. And so when you are feeling your best mentally or physically, it helps you make better decisions. Sometimes you're more ambitious. You respond better to outside stimulus or outside stress. So I'm sure when you think about health, that it does make you feel like, okay, I am wealthy, I can do more, I'm able to do more, and you enjoy it better. So, you know, and there are different ways to think about health, because, I mean, when you have so much stress, you know, the stress can even cripple people. Stress can stop people from even saying yes to certain things, because they're just like, I just can't handle one more thing. Or if you're in so much pain because you have so much inflammation, you decide, well, I need to mow the lawn, but I'm not going to, or I just can't because I don't feel like it, or whatever that is. You know, maybe you need to go to the grocery store and you're like, forget it, we're going through the drive-through because I don't even want to walk through the store. You see what I'm going with this? You all can think of something. And, you know, when we are in poor health, you know, you can fill in the blank. You know what that looks like for yourself. And so that leads me into why I do what I do. And so most of you heard, my name is Satinka, and just a tiny bit about me. I am a wife, I am a mother, and I work from home. And I also homeschool, and I babysit some of the kids that I homeschool. So I am not short of anything stressful. And while I might not be able to reduce my stress, things have drastically changed in the last 4 years that I've been doing this, because of finding these herb blends with Soul Naturals. And so my story doesn't have a start date, like, okay, this is when I hit my health crisis, but it was sort of accumulative over time. Most of you probably can relate to that. But I know that there was a point where I hit a health crisis, and that was while I was pregnant with my third child. And hey, where's Daddy? The beauties of working at home. No, go, you need to go find Daddy. He's downstairs. He just got home. And so while I was pregnant with my third, that was when I hit my health crisis. No, look at me. Look. You need to go. It's time to listen. Andrew, you need to go with Daddy. I need your help. You need to go. She thinks she's cute. Anyway, while I was pregnant, there was something that happened, and I had gone to the doctor, and I said, hey, what's going on? I had, it was quite terrible, actually. I had, my tongue was swollen. It was white. It had swirls on it. I wasn't eating. And I went to the doctor for a routine checkup, and I was like, hey, by the way, could you tell me what's going on with my mouth? Because I eat anything and my mouth is on fire. And so they're like, oh, it's probably something related to being pregnant. We can give you something, but I'm not sure it's going to work, but you can go ahead and try it. And I was totally discouraged and confused by that answer. That I told them that I was like, well, what else can you do? Like, is it, you know, that one of the nurses had said something like, hey, maybe it's something fungal, but, you know, we could do a swab and see. Either way, it was kind of a traumatic situation. And so they took a culture and they said, oh, it's all negative. You have nothing wrong. And so at that time, I had known of a friend who was into wellness for, you know, healing her body. eating well for healing and all that stuff. And most of it was all new to me. So when I had talked to her, I told her about what I had going on, and she said, oh, no big deal. It's probably a candida overgrowth. And to me, I was like, what? I didn't know what that was. And she said, don't worry, a lot of people have it and you just have to deal with it. But what was interesting enough, where all those symptoms that I was having and had since I was in high school, was everything from digestive issues, constipation. It was very easy for me to get heartburn. The white in my mouth was thrush, and mental, like they call it brain fog, where you just can't concentrate on certain things. I had extreme fatigue, and just listening to that list, I'm sure most of you have felt like that before. Now, I'm not saying everyone's got a candida overgrowth, but most of those symptoms we all can relate to. And I had the most wicked sweet tooth ever. Like, I always wanted sweets, and it was just, sometimes I felt like I couldn't even control it. And because I was always so fatigued, I drank a ton of coffee. And, because I just thought, well, that's the only thing. And, those energy drinks aren't good for you, so I'm not going to drink those. But I just drank maybe 4 or 5 cups of coffee every day and was wrecking my gut. But anyway, she told me, she's like, well, number one, let's look at your diet. And we talked about eliminating sugar and ways to eat foods that were a little easier on my stomach and my digestion. But she said, by the way, I've got these herbs that I would like you to add into your diet. Because I wasn't gaining any weight. Remember, I was pregnant, and you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to actually gain weight while you're pregnant. And anyway, after about a month's time, I started to feel better, and because the herbs were giving me quite a bit of relief. But the thing that was most significant to me was, remember, I work from home, I babysit kids, homeschool kids, and am married. And that's, just think about that for a minute. There's a lot of stress involved with that. And so about 6 months after using my products consistently, that's when my husband was the one who pointed out that, he's like, it's a joke now, but he said, your fuse is a lot longer. And I was like, what do you mean? I'm like, you try hanging out with kids all day and see how long your fuse is. And but that's when I really started to hear and even was more aware now of my response to stressful situations. And I wasn't just getting upset immediately. I was able to ask a question instead of just flying off the handle, or I'd be like, well, just grab a towel. Or I was more able to respond in a healthy way and not just react to everything around me, which, most of us would think, well, that's natural. You're stressed out. Of course you're going to be like that. And I also was sleeping and waking up more rested, because I could sleep for 10 hours at night and still wake up exhausted and felt like I need a nap during the day before I started using these herbs and changing my diet. So I knew something was always out of balance. And for that to change the way it did, that I felt more in control of my responses, that was huge. That was huge. So that's a little bit of my story. There's a lot more really cool things that have happened over the years, and helped my son with allergies and my husband with numerous things. But that's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And so I want Kayla to share a little bit about what it is that she's had happen.
Okay. Am I unmuted? Yeah? Okay. All right. Well, I will say, sorry, maybe a few people. I was invited by Satinka, who I saw her all the time randomly, like, oh, she's the one with the really cute little kids. I didn't know who she was. I sang with her husband on worship team, and that's about all I knew. we're kind of connecting over Messenger on Facebook. And God was leading me to go to this meeting she had invited me to. She had, like, to the beach around a bunch of kids. I'm like, I can't be around kids right now. I can barely open my eyes. But I wanted to go, but then I didn't. So I kept finding reasons not to hang out and stuff like that. And then something about this meeting was like, I felt pulled to go. I really parked my car and I was like, I'm just going to tell her I'm sick, because I felt like I was sick. I was always tired, depressed, which, if any of you know me, which all of you know me, I was having definitely improved with my diet changes. I'd already been working on eating differently. I'd done keto. I'd done all these different things, me out, but at the same time, I was just feeling like crap. So I'm like, why not? I have to be around a bunch of women, which scared me at the time, but I decided. And during that meeting, we got to learn a little bit more about what are adaptogens. I'd heard about them from Dr. Axe's YouTube videos, basically. And I wasn't sure if they were going to help me or not, but I decided that I was going to give them a try. Like, I'm just going to buy everything, because they're not cheap. I mean, really. But different ones. I think there's 4 drinks. Each one to kind of do something a little different. I started researching adaptogens. Cinco was kind of mentoring me through the process. I started just by that it wasn't healthy for me to feel like I need to drink coffee throughout. And most of you guys know that I'm a full-time RN, and I work really long shifts, and I wasn't feeling like I was doing my job well. I felt very complacent, feeling like my digestive tract was hurting again, tired, and it's not the kind of tired that offers relief when you get all day and then slept more and taken naps throughout the day and nothing was really enough. Good at this stuff maybe, but I was just feeling really crappy. The brain fog thing that Satika mentioned is I couldn't seem to concentrate well. Like, it was like I could stare at something for a really long time. What am I looking at? Or read something and I would just read the line over and over and retaining. I was swelling, like my feet were, which kind of makes sense when you're on your feet all day, but they were just like even more swollen than normal. Like, I have a history of binge eating. I was binge eating at night a lot. But stress me want to do it, emotional eating, but I think everything is really tied together. So moving forward, I didn't like how I was trying so hard to be healthy with my body. I didn't like how it's like, okay, I only have a little bit of weight to lose, because at that time I was thinking my health was just my weight, but it was so much more than that. I just felt like crap, and it sucked to go so far in your certain weight and to really change your whole lifestyle and feel like, not sparkle. I don't know if anybody on here can relate to that. I was almost to the point where I'm like, well, I might as well go back to eating Taco Bell, eat my bean and cheese to college, and call it a day and just be fat and happy. But I want to do that because I liked how much I had learned about food, and I knew that wasn't my emotions were just so all over the place that I was kind of like, whatever, I'll just have the gluten people, I'll just fart all the time. Sorry, excuse my language, but that's so highly discouraged. I went to this meeting in a mate. It's this red packet that you'll see if you go on the website. I don't even know if that one has adaptogens in it, but it does have a couple things I need to help regulate blood sugar just from me nerding out and reading things. And then has yerba mate, which is more of like a natural, more sustainable energy. It doesn't give you that, not high, but it doesn't give you like jittery effect like caffeine will. Not that at that point caffeine wasn't doing much for me. It was just keeping me alive. But it was like a different type of energy, kind of like you're steady, your thing or your afternoon slump kind of thing. And I don't remember learning, but I was just doing that and drinking water and trying to eat like same kind of stuff I was trying before, but I added in the cinnamate. And then Satika's like, you know what, next time on your next day, adding Vital in. So I started taking Vital, and I'm sorry, I did leave a couple things out. I was taking store-bought digestive in, and I just switched to the Soul digestive. And I did notice a difference. I don't know if it's the quality of the product or what. Get each meal, I would feel a lot better. I wouldn't feel bloated. I felt like I actually had their TMI, but regular bowel movements more regularly all over the place. So it took for me to not have any caffeine headaches, but I was doing the cinnamon, and I noticed something different because there's been a few times in my life where I'm like, oh, I'm not going to do anymore. I'm going to take a break. And then I last for like 2 days because I have extreme migraines and I'm bedridden. But this time I noticed, wow, it's just a headache. This sucks, but drink water, use whatever essential oils are sitting in my cabinet. And so I just kept drinking the cinnamate, wishing it was coffee, like chai tea. It's really good. But wasn't my coffee, and I wanted coffee so bad. But I got to a point where I'm like, I was starting to notice that I wasn't feeling that like high and low slump where I couldn't get through my day. I just noticed that just like a little bit of a difference, and it was enough for me to keep going. And when I added the Vital the next month, I noticed even more of a change. It felt like I felt like all parts of my, and it's super weird when I say it, but I don't know how else to explain it. Like, I felt like before I was just like lifting my head up off the table and like lifting my arm up, and when I was trying to go to the gym, I'd be like, just lift this weight up. And then I was even giving up on the gym at some point. But then I'd get there and I would do like a half workout, and I would just leave because I'm like, I'm so tired. Now it felt like I was like, wow, I have a body and it works and it acts. That's how it felt. So fast forward, started adding in, Satinka actually was very generous and let me use Soul because she knows about how my moods are, my depression and everything, and dealing with people all the time. Added that in, and oh my God, I want to say like, I just felt like I could see sound. I don't know how to explain it. I felt like that happened actually 2 days after I had a really bad energy day. Like, you know, sometimes it gets worse before it gets better. There was sleep on the way to see my mom to get my hair cut. And that's when I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to help me, like something. And she, a few days, and she's like, I'm gonna let you borrow this. And so I did. And for that, yeah, that stuff's amazing. I just noticed that it was like a mood lift. Like finally, like I was feeling like my mood was just raising up, and I didn't have to feed it every single day I went to work, and every single time I would sit down feeling like I was just going away. And the way I've described it to a lot of my friends, and especially to Tinka, is I was running at 5% for a long time, and then I went up to 30%. And I've actually been staying at that 30%, which, if you guys understand, is like, I felt like I was just dead, like a dead person walking. Really good at high and goofy and stuff, but like, I felt like I'm like, I just want to stop. And now I feel like, oh my gosh, no, I'm climbing up this mountain and I'm gonna get crazy. I'm just super excited to see how much more physical, much more my mood will improve, the amount of mental clarity I'll have. Maybe I can more things that I want to do, and being able to take on more tasks to focus on the things that I want to do. I'm passionate about sharing this, and I'm hoping I can help change lives, because mine's already been changed. Thanks for letting me share, because I don't know how much, that was a lot.
Yeah, I
Mute me. I'm done.
I should have had Kayla teach tonight.
What?
I'm just kidding.
I don't know all the herbs.
Oh, thank you, Kayla. And that's why I have people who ask me to share with their people to share, because you could hear me and hear my story, but Kayla, and and probably have known her, so what she's gone through, where she was. Maybe you can see the difference now. And even for myself, when my husband was the one who pointed it out, and I didn't necessarily notice, but once he said it, then I became more aware. And just one really fun thing that I love about the products is that there were some, I've never been diagnosed or anything, but I had a lot of like sensory issues that, there were certain sounds that could throw me into a rage, or there were sounds that would literally give me the heebie-jeebies and I would feel like I was going to puke. Like just certain sounds or textures and things that, because I'd always been up to here with stress and anxiety, that, my nerves, and it was so easy. My whole family knew that you could scare Satinka with like her own shadow. Everyone knew it, that I was super jumpy and it was really easy to scare me because my adrenals were shot. And although that's really funny that it was so easy to scare me, that's how like even my body was so out of balance because of years of stress and just not knowing how to support my body to bring me back to balance, for it to heal itself. So now that particular sound that used to get me really upset really easy, there's a couple textures where I can touch them now and it doesn't bother me. And that other sound that I had, I don't feel like I'm going to puke when I hear it. I just hear it and it doesn't totally throw me off. So that's just another example of just, the longer I've used them, it's been really fun to see those kind of effects. So for the sake of time, I wanted to share 3 things about Soul Naturals. Yes, if you see the word, it's S-O-L-L-E, and everyone likes to say Soleil. My husband especially, he's like, can I have some Soleil? And I'm like, it's Soul. I'm like, Soul, man. Like, come on. And why it makes them so unique. I just want to see a show of hands. Who's ever heard adaptogens before? Has anyone ever heard of adaptogens? Just Kayla and Ashley, and that's it. All right. So one of one of the top 3 reasons what makes Soul so unique is their adaptogens. It's just a fancy word for a class of herbs that are known and studied for their effects on your mental health and your physical health. And most of you are aware now that the two, you can't separate it. You know, when you feel down, you mentally feel down. When you're mentally down, you're physically down, and it affects your physical health. So Soul uses adaptogens in every one of its products. Its essential oils to even its probiotics, there are adaptogens in every single one of them. And a couple of them have up to 7 in just one. Even their protein powder has an adaptogen in it, because they know how effective they are, and the longer you use them, they're known for safe for daily use and for their accumulative benefits. So like I was saying, after a couple of years, those things that had changed to me after using my products for 2 years, I even had some like nervous things I did because of anxiety. I'd bite my cheeks. My cheeks always had these sores because I would bite my cheeks, and my nails were always broken in the same spot because I'd always click my nails. Super weird, but just physical things that would manifest with things that I did. But anyway, the adaptogens, the longer you use them, you find greater benefits from. The second reason why Soul is very unique is that they have 4 categories that most of us can address with our health. There are symbolized in the 4 colors. Red for lifting, so just think anything that's low you need to accelerate, like maybe you need more energy, or I mean literally anything that you think if it's too low you want it raised. The blue category is their calm line, and the calm is think anything that's too high and you need to bring it down and balance it out. And or maybe you have, you know, anxiety, and there's your nerves are always up here, then you need things from the calm line. The green is for balance. So a lot of times I like to think of maybe you're really low on certain nutrition and you need to bring balance to your body and balance out pain sometimes even. That's one of the categories. And the 4th category is the yellow one, and that's clarify. Clarify, think about anything that is stuck, that needs to be moved. And that even goes as far as like you have allergies and you have sinus issues and you need movement, or maybe you have a lot of lymph node related things physically. You need the blood moving, you need circulation into your limbs. You need mental movement, like you always feel just stuck mentally. A lot of things in the Clarify line are really great for that. So Soul has made it simple because they want this model to be that whoever comes to the company and say, I want to take care of these things or address these things, it's really easy for anyone to understand once they understand the concept. And the third one is synergy. Like I said, when I started on 3 products. That's how I started, a simple program that I knew that what I needed. And they are so complementary that even though I was using 3 products, you know, if I were to go and count them, I would more have counted that I was getting 9 different results. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure most of you have heard the idea of synergy, that they just complement each other and work well together. And there's no, this is the best program, or this, you should use this, and you can only use it this way. Everyone can use it however they want to. So that's what makes Soul so unique, are those things. Are there any questions so far? Or no? We're good. I just like to pause once in a while in case there's something. So while you're listening to me, maybe you've heard something from me, or maybe you've heard something from Kayla so far. You know, if you feel like there's even a loved one that you've heard of that you think that, hey, maybe they need help with this, I would love the opportunity to share with them too. But you know, that's why naturally the company has this model that we as specialists can help other people, because naturally I think everyone has a care or concern for one another's health. And so now I want to go into a little bit on product. Now, there's no way I could cover all of these products. There's like, yeah, and even just one product has quite a bit in it. But I wanted to just keep it simple tonight and tell you about their top 4 drinks, because there's this thing we like to teach people is that, number one, I'm not a doctor and I'm not certified in any health practitioner anything, but what I have seen from these products and from my story and from what has benefited Kayla and thousands of others, these products are made simply so that everyone can use them, whether they're a child or they're elderly. And using these products that are unique for you, you will get a benefit. And we don't want people to think about, okay, well, I have headaches. What do you have for headaches? Well, there's usually a number of factors when it comes to a headache. And I'd rather figure out, well, where's the headache coming from? How often do you get them? What brought it on? How much water have you had? And, because we don't want to treat one, that's a very expensive approach to your health if you're always treating the symptoms. So what we like to do is teach people about how to balance your body. And when you balance your body, you get into what's called homeostasis, another fancy word for being able to heal. You're just in balance. Homeostasis just means balance. And your body was created and designed to heal itself. So I was going to show you those little packets that Kayla was talking about, and they're pretty simple. When people order a package that's for them, most everything is designed to last you 1 month. Most of the drinks in a small box are these little foil packets to preserve its freshness, and it's already measured. You don't have to use a scoop and, oh, did I put too much, or anything like that. And that way they're easy to travel around. So this is the Cinnamate. It's red. It's in the lifting category. And this has been a great coffee replacement and curb cravings, if you will. And frankly, when I was going through all of my health and, in the beginning, and frankly, I just got up with the worst attitude, and I just would whine about everything. I'm like, I have to get up and eat eggs, and that's it. I'm only allowed to have eggs. I would just whine about everything. And I felt like over time, this really helped, because it was like, we call it a hug in a mug, because it just felt like it was my cheerleader. It's the only thing that makes me feel better. I want to get up and have my Cinnamate because the coffee was tearing up my gut, and coffee wasn't helping my anxiety. When I found out later, it was taxing my adrenal glands even more. So that's one of the drinks. And this is Renew. This is another favorite of mine. This is, for some people, it helps them have a better night's rest. And for some people who are a little bit more like me and up here with energy level, and we need to kind of tone it down and so that we can rest at night or turn off our brains, this helps to kind of calm all of that down. And so what I like to do in the morning and at night is I mix the two, because it's like, here's my digestive energy, which, by the way, if you have any digestive issues, this has been very, very helpful. And the Renew, it's like, here's my lift and here's my calm. And, I don't know, some of us like to call it a yin drink or zen drink, because it's like that calm, but the calm that you need to focus, but the energy that you need to keep going. And I've also always had blood sugar issues. So if you've ever known anyone with diabetes or even low blood sugar issues, this has helped balance that out for me. It didn't, this isn't going to make you do anything. The adaptogens balance that. Then here's the Vital. Vital is, we like to call it the superhero juice. Kids, this helps with all kids like this. I've heard it described as having a Kool-Aid flavor, which is always fun, because I'm like, ew, I hated Kool-Aid. So anyway, this is one of the drinks that has helped a lot of people with, again, just balancing their stress. It is a chlorophyll blend, so it gently is detoxing you. It helps oxygenate the blood. It's got your electrolytes in it because of all the green plants that are in there, and a ton of trace minerals. So people who have had a lot of migraine problems, this has been an answer to migraines because it's just giving the body what it needs, bringing it into balance so it can manage whatever it needs to be balanced. And this one, these two, the green and the yellow is from the Clarify line, but this drink is called Excel. This is called Vital. These two mixed together was what in about 6 months got my son off of all his allergy medication. He had been taking medication since he was about 18 months old. And so about 16 or so, maybe, was it 14 or 15 years old? It was when we found these products, and a mentor of mine had helped me and said that, hey, just get him using these every day. And he was able to get off all his allergy meds. And because of what we had learned about diet and gut health, those two together, this and fixing his eating, it also adjusted the things that he'd always been allergic to, that he's much milder effects. You know, he's always had a pet allergy to cats and dogs, and he can go to people's houses now and not only stay for 5 minutes. He can actually hang out and not die at their house from sneezing or just watery eyes. But the other thing about this one, this has been great for anybody with hormone issues, whether you're male or you're female. Now, a lot of people pigeonhole hormones and think it just has to do with sexual stuff or, you know, reproductive organs, but hormones are, you have a hormone that tells your heart to beat. You have a hormone that communicates from your stomach to your brain, hey, it's time to eat now. We have all kinds of systems in our bodies that communicate all day long to your brain. So yes, while it's greatly beneficial to reproductive organs and all of that and balancing hormones, it's been great for just overall, you know, functions and keeping things moving. Because remember, like I said, it's the Clarify. And we've even had a lot of people who have had issues where there's been a death in the family, and they have had suffered from a long grief period, and were able to not move past that or process through the grief, where we have found that making sure that this was part of their program got them unstuck and got them processing those emotions again. And again, that's thanks to the adaptogens, because it's not just a physical thing, it's your mental health. That is very important to, you know, the rest of your well-being. I mean, there are so many cool stories. That's another thing about being a part of this whole community, is it's not just what I could tell you from the website, because you can see a lot of these products online. You could hit the read more on my website and you can see the products and read the product info sheets. But the most valuable has been all the stories, the real people who've gone through real things that are having real results and their lives changed. And it's just by using, you know, three or more of these products, and making that unique to themselves and to their needs and what they want to focus on. And the last product that I wanted to show you was Adaptable. Adaptable, we affectionately like to call the happy pills because that's just what they are. I'm going to say there are 7 adaptogens in this one alone. And this is what started the company, are these capsules. The founders all have 25 plus years experience. So if you ever wonder about, well, where'd the company come from? How long has it been around? The company itself has only been around for about 7 years, but all the founders have 25 plus years experience in the industry. And they founded this company when the founder's wife was diagnosed with clinical depression. And she was on a very high dose of the strongest medicine that you could have for depression. And she also was using herbs from another very well-known high-quality product company, and she was taking a lot all day because she knew that the drugs that the doctors had given her to stabilize her were not the answer to her healing, were not the answer to her overcoming the depression that she had. So she had great, investment in herbs because she wanted to heal. It wasn't until her husband learned about adaptogens and started to research blends and research ways to use it for his wife. And now mind you, she was taking a lot of other products. The story goes, she was taking between 30 and 50 capsules of herbs a day, 30 to 50 capsules a day, depending on the day of the week, because she wanted to heal. He got this down so that she was only able to use 2 of these once he balanced it out, and we call it the Donna blend because his wife's name was Donna, and she's like, okay, stop messing with the formula. That's it. I only need those. I only need 2. This works. And the neat thing is while, the bottle says, the serving size is 2 capsules because everyone wants to know what the bottle says, you can take more, because just like if you are, depending on your nutrition needs, while you're dieting or exercising or whatever, you can increase the amount of healthy foods that you want, that you need. So you can do the same thing with your herbs. You're not bound by the 2 that it says. And I kid you not, there was a season where I was taking 5 a day because I was trying to figure out what worked best for me. And I also had 5 kids with me at all times. So I was like, I'm taking 1 for every one of you. But, but that's just an example I want to tell you. And it's just funny to tell people that I had 5 kids, so I took 5 of those. But, like I said, I could share more about the products, but this is such a simple way to start. And whether you're here for weight loss, or whether you are here thinking about what can I do about my blood sugar, or what can I do about, constipation or whatever, there are ways to feed your body so it will balance itself, so that your body can be getting what it needs, so it will do what it was designed to do, and in most cases heal itself. Even if there's chronic pain, it's just your body needs to balance. So I want to know if anyone else has any questions. Please don't tell me that I'm that thorough, because I've only had an hour to cover a little bit. All right. Well, if you guys don't have any questions, then I would like to respect your time, because we did start at 7:30, even though we had technical difficulties. And I told you that for those of you who took my health assessment and you sent me your results, I put your name on a little piece of paper, and I said whoever the winner was, that I would give you 1 week of your top drink, whatever came up on your health assessment, so that you can have it. So I picked out a name, and we have Sherry on here. So I don't know if Sherry's still on the phone, but Sherry, I will contact you, and I'll look at your, yay, Sherry. I'll look at your health assessment and see what you have on there. And I truly appreciate all of you being here. Thank you for letting me share. Thank you for hearing Kayla share. I'm sure Kayla's thankful too. Her picture, oh, there she is. I'm like, I think he's going quiet. And like I had said, that if you were hearing something and maybe you feel like you're just on top of the world and you don't need anything, maybe you thought of someone that you love and you want to see how you can help them. I would love to be able to get connected with them and help them. And hopefully also I've given you hope if you did land somewhere with me and my story, or you've landed somewhere with Kayla's story. that you be encouraged, because you do have options. You are not bound by a diagnosis. If someone's told you you have ABC, there are things you can do to improve your situation. And thank you. Kayla, do you have anything to wrap up with that you'd like to say farewell before? I unmuted you.
Well, oh, okay. Thank you for coming and listening to this. I hope that you continue to ask me questions. Definitely moving forward with Soul, so I'm going to be learning a lot more. And if any of you, buddy, all you all do, I'm a huge nerd. I will not stop. I will stay up reading every medical book out there and telling you the difference between conventional medicine and natural medicine, because I'm healing still. But thanks for coming. And every one of you that I invited, I didn't just invite you. Well, I needed some support, yes, but I just want to help people. And I want them to healed and feel the effects of what it feels like to actually truly heal, and not to just symptoms and try to find immediate temporary relief. There's some things, and I believe that with my whole heart, and if I didn't, I wouldn't do this. Whether it is something that you're struggling with, like simply a sugar addiction, or you can't focus at all, or you've been diagnosed with something severe like an autoimmune disease, well, now my entire life I'm just going to treat the autoimmune disease and treat the things that come with it and suppress this and suppress that. I want you to know that there's something better, where you can actually work with your body to heal the body instead of working against it, which is what a lot of conventional medicine treatments do. I'm a full-time nurse. I work in an oncology unit. I see people with cancer every single night. It's extremely discouraging, and you don't know where else to turn sometimes every day. So being on the other side and being involved with conventional, because I'm able to see what healing actually looks like and what it doesn't look like. So if you guys have questions, if you want to message me, whether you're my friend or you, or we've just met, it doesn't really matter. I'm here to help, and I have support. I have the support I need so I can help start supporting other people. So I really appreciate it, and I hope you guys learned something tonight.
Thank you.
I'm done.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good